That's the end of chapter 15 of the Gospel of Jesus in Matthew. Now we're starting chapter 16. Now the Pharisees and the Sadducees came to test Jesus. They asked him to show them a sign from heaven. He has. He healed the crippled people in front of these Pharisees and Sadducees, and they said, "You're breaking the law, Jesus, because you healed them on the Sabbath. You're breaking a law of God." So they called him a lawbreaker when he showed them a sign. He made the law. He made the 10 Commandments. He is God. And also when he did signs of casting demons out of people, they said, "The only reason why you can do that, Jesus, is because you have the power of the devil inside of you." So he did signs for him. They said, "You're a lawbreaker and you're a demon." So Jesus said back to them when they said, "Hey, show us another sign." "When evening comes," Jesus said to them, "you say it will be fair weather and the sky is red. And in the morning, today it will be stormy, for the sky is red and overcast. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times." I just showed you. I just read it. Before their eyes, Jesus is fulfilling prophecies of what it said God will do when God comes to them. He's fulfilling it, and they're ignoring it and saying, "You're a demon and a lawbreaker, not God has come to us," which was the truth. So he said, "A wicked and adulterous generation looks for a sign, but none will be given except for the sign of Jonah." And then Jesus left and went away. What was the sign of Jonah? Jonah was in the belly of the big fish for 3 days. Then he came out of the fish, and he saved Nineveh from being destroyed because of their sins. Jesus was in a tomb for 3 days. And after that, he rose from the dead and came out of the tomb and saved all of his followers who would follow him from going to hell because of their sins. Then they went across the lake, but the disciples forgot to bring bread with them. Now, don't forget, Jesus just fed the 4,000 out of nothing. He kind of multiplied it. So they forgot bread, and Jesus said to them, "Hey, be careful. Be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees." They discussed this among themselves and said, "He's saying this because we didn't bring any bread." Aware of the discussion, Jesus asked, "You of little faith." Now you're going to see he keeps hitting them. Their faith in him isn't as strong as it needs to be. Okay? And what's faith in Jesus? If Jesus tells you something, that he's going to do something, you have to believe that he's going to fulfill his word. He said, "You have little faith. Why are you talking amongst yourselves about we have no bread? Do you still not understand? Don't you remember the 5 loaves and the 5,000? That was last teaching. Same thing. He took a little bit of bread and fish and multiplied it to feed 5,000 families. And how many basketfuls were gathered that were left over? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000 that he just did, and how many basketfuls are left over? How is it that you don't understand I was not talking to you about bread? Are you worried that, oh my goodness, we don't have bread, what are we going to do? You saw me feed thousands of people over a couple of loaves. You don't got to worry about not having bread with me. You know that I can do that. But what I'm talking about is be on guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Then they understood he was not telling them to be on guard against the yeast used in bread, but against the teachings of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Now, I used that example twice, yeast, as teachings, as putting it in your life. Now, earlier, I think this was last session, in Matthew 13, verse 33, just a couple pages back, Jesus was telling parables about the kingdom of heaven. Okay, now how to get in the kingdom of heaven? You have to follow Jesus Christ to get in the kingdom of heaven. How do you follow him? Well, you got to know what he says. You got to learn the Bible and then do what it says. That's how you follow him. You follow his commands. He says repeatedly, "If you love me, you will follow my commands." Well, how do we know his commands? He tells us in the Bible. So anyways, in Matthew 13, verse 33, he told a parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed it into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked all through the dough. So this woman, like mixing yeast through 60 pounds of dough, she took the teachings of Jesus Christ and her faith in Jesus Christ and mixed it, worked it into her life, and it spread all through her life because she kept working it. She kept going back to it, and it brought her to the kingdom of heaven. What he's saying now is, be careful the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. These religious leaders are teaching bad things. They're teaching human traditions instead of what God says. They're teaching that Jesus is a lawbreaker and a demon. Okay, so he said, be careful of their teachings, people. If you work what they're saying into your life, you're going to be destroyed because they're teaching the wrong stuff. Now, we are in Matthew 6.